Hello buddies, welcome back to this masterclass for the beginners in C programming language. So guys, we've been talking about C data types, and for the last lessons we have really been working hard on those, and we were done with it. So today's guys, we're going to learn about C operators. Is your guy once again the Wolf. Welcome. Okay, so if you're new, welcome, and if you're old, let's continue from where we left. So first of all, we're going to create a file here, and remember I'm using code block for C language. So I've already created this. You can click on file here and you can end up somewhere like this. So I just want to name it C operators. Actually, I've already named it just like that. So the next thing that I want to do is just to click next, and there I finish. So it's generating. Actually it has already generated, so I can click around here and I see the main over here. So guys, let me define this. So operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. So there we go. So in the example that I want to do just right here with you, I just want to use the plus operator to add together two values. So I assume that you already know how to create a variable and a value, how to assign a value in a variable. So let me do it right here. So I'm just off by creating a variable type int, and I can just call it my num. So I've already created that variable. So let me assign a number there, maybe 50 plus 20. So you have already seen I've used the operator plus there. But don't mind if you don't get it, because I'm just going to explain. So if I wanted to print this out, I can just print my num here and just copy this. And now I can remove all these from here. And because it's an int, I just going to put this sign over here, and then I add an I there, just like that, to mean an integer. And then I can now concatenate with a variable there, which is this one. So if I print out, let me see if I've made a mistake, but let's find out. There we go, address. Oh no, what is this? So probably I've printed something here on the modifiers here. I'm going to change that sign, then now I can run. Error is too human. So we can, as you can see guys, we have our answer there as 70. So meaning 20 plus 50 is 20. So I have used the operator plus there. So although the plus operator is often used to add together two values, like in the example that you can see here, it can also be used to add together a variable and a value, or a variable and another variable. So we can do that right here. So let's create a value and a value, and a variable with a value, and then lastly we do a variable with a variable. Okay, so I'm just going to do what? Already have this one here. I just want to maybe call this variable sum1, and then this is now a value with a value. So let's create a variable with a value. I'm just going to initialize int type, of course. Then I call it sum2. Then I assign sum1 plus operator with 200, right? Again, remember to put that over there, and again just add another one here. So I can just see, maybe just copy this, just paste right here, and now you can change this to 3, Control Z, just like that. Maybe again I change this to 250, and then now I can add some 2 plus some 2, yes, and then we get some 3. Actually, yeah, this is okay. This is just a repetition here. Just put some 1, some 1. So some 2 plus yeah, I have some 1 plus 200, then some 2 again plus some 2. Yeah, so this should be some 2, so that it can be a variable with a variable, and a variable with an integer, a value with a value. So you get that. So I can actually print now here. I can print some 3, some 3, just like that. Or I can just print individuals. So let me just print the individuals. So I can change this to new line. Just add a new line here, and then say some 1, and then let me just print the next one here. Copy that, and again paste here, and now change this to 2, and lastly put a 3 there. It is some 3. So there's no need for printing in a new line, but just leave it just like that. So let's find out whether we doing the right thing. As you can see, we have 70, 270, so it's working. It's really working. Yeah. So okay, so C divides the operators into the following groups that I want to mention here, and you can see them popping on our screen. So the first group is arithmetic operators. So remember in the previous lesson we were talking about this. And also we have assignment operator, conversion operators, logical operators, piecewise operators. So let's start with arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used to perform common mathematical operations. So let's see how they look like. So the first one here is, let me just delete all this, and then I should try to show you. The first arithmetic is this plus operator here, and it's called addition, just like the high school kindergarten mathematics. So this addition is actually used to add together two values, like each we can say x plus y, simple as that. And again, the second one is a division, subtraction. So the subtraction, so a subtraction, this one actually subtract one value from another, e.g. we can say x minus y. So this is a rough work here, just like the syntax, right? So the second one is the division and multiplication, which is shown like that as thesis. So this one is used to multiply a number. So this is a multiplication, and it can be x 36 y. So that is a multiplication. And again we have a division. So a division, as normal, guys, you already know this, So a division is used to divide one value by another. For example, we're gonna have x divided by y, just like that. And another one here we have modular. This one is called a modular. So a modular returns the division in remainder. For example, if you divide by 5 divided by 2, you're going to get the remainder, and the remainder is called the modular. So you can say x divided modular 8 modular y, and it's going to give you the remainder. And also we have the plus plus, which is called increment. So it's called increment, just like that. So So this increment a value of a variable by 1. For example, let's say we have a variable called x. So if you put double plus here, you're going to increment this number by 1. For example, if it was in a while loop, and then the first time x is 1, and then if you increment the second time, it's going to give you 2. Also, we have the minus. This is called decrement. So the decrement is actually used to, let me just do it here. So this one is used to decrease the value of a variable by 1. So it's simply written like -1. So this decrement or reduce the number by 1. That is it. That's all about these operators. So let's talk about assignment operators. So assignment operators are used to assign values to a variables. For example, if you have x then equal to 1, you have assigned. So that's called assignment operator, which is equal sign. So in the example that I wanted to show you here, I just want to use the assignment operator called equal sign. So this assigns the value, for example, 10 to a variable called x. So you can simply just say a variable called x, then you say equal to 10. Those now you have assigned 10 to x. If you print x, you will get 10 inside there. Okay, let's do one example here and find out. And remember here to return. Yeah, return always must be there. So I just want to do this, that I say int x, then I put my equal sign there and then put 10. So I have assigned x to, assigned x, simple like that. And what have I assigned x with? I just place the number 10 in there. If I print this, I get the answer. So the additional assignment operator like plus, equal to, sign adds a value to a variable. For example, this one here. If I say example, let's say we have this int x is equal to 10, and then for example you have x here, then I put a plus equal to 5. What does that mean? If I print x, I will get actually 76, because it just took the variable and then I concatenated with a plus, which actually assigned. This adds a 56 to the value that was already existing in that variable called x. So if I print out, let's see. So print function, and just do this. I don't know why I deleted this. So the first thing I should do is that, and then percentage as a digit and put a comma there, and now I can print x just like that. So let's do it and see whether we can get 76, right? There's something I'm doing somewhere. So the return is supposed to be like that. Yeah, there we got 66. So I'm so dumb in maths actually. I don't know why I'm so crazy with that. Anyway, yeah, we got the answer. So let me just list all these assignment operators, and you can try them out and see. So the first one here is the operator, and then I give you an example. For example, I've already done this. Let me show you. So the first operator here is equal sign, and we have already used it. And the second one is where you add a plus and then equal sign. So like this one that we have done here. Then the third one, you can also have a negative, and negative then equal. These are actually we reduce the first variable, or the first initialize the value or variable will be the number that you will put there will be subtracted from the variable you created. So simple as that. Another thing is we have a multiplication here, which is equal to this. And if I can try this, let's try this out. Actually, this will end up like this is so simple. So it's like x is equal to x multiplied by 3. 2, 3, whatever the number that you want to put there. That's how it's done. Also, we have a division like this, and then equal. So you can understand that. And also we have there are many. We have the modular, then it's assigned. Again, we have and actually is written like this, and also we have the or operator. Or is written like this. So don't be worried what I'm doing, but we will use them. I'm just mentioning this equal to. For example, this can be x or equal to 3. So also we have like 3 left now. So we have this one here. So we have this power here where we write just like shift and then this over here there and an equal sign. So this one, where do we use this one? This actually can be used in the term of x power. You say to be x power, for example, say 2. Just like that, and we can say equal to 3. Can we do an example with that and see what the answers we should get? Okay, let me just try this because this one seems to be different. Int x is equal to 5. Then I can say now x is to power let's say, can I space here? So power equals to, let's say 2, and then now we can print function, and then percentage t, and now I can put a comma there and then put a x there. This return must return 0 there. So let's run this and see what we have. Seems that just like that. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me run this. Main dot. There we go. Now play this again. This run. So guys, you can see we have 7. So these sides actually do like it adds. Let me just put a 3 here and see what I have. 3, and I must just cancel this and just make this also. Sorry for this. So I can create space over there. Yeah, now it's here. So let me just again run this and see the result. The result is 6. Wow, what does this actually do? Let me just put a 4 there and see. And again run this. Oh, the number actually keeps on going down. So this number is like shifting something. So it's shift with that kind of a number there. It's shift actually. So let's again check on this one here, which is shift. Again, let me just space. So I'm trying to test those that I didn't really quite understand. So I'm trying to test them. So I have also this thing here. Let me just put this over here again, and then I should now assign maybe this is 3. What would be the answer anyway? So let me just cancel this and again run. So I got 0. Oh, again, let me just change that number. Let me say, so you shift 3 times. Okay, let me just put a 2 there. 2, and again, let me see, what do I get? 1. So it's like it does shift the number by the number that we have placed over there. And finally, we have this. Now the sign is facing on the left side. So let me just change this, and again let's run. This must be incrementing. Yeah. So we can see what this shifting does. So again, guys, let's talk about what else. Actually, we have talked about the assignment operators, and we have seen them. So let's talk about comparison operators. So comparison operators are used to compare two values of variables. This is important in a programming because it helps us to find answers and make decisions. So the return values of a comparison is either 1 or 0, which means true is 1 and false is 0. These values are known as Boolean values, and we will learn this more about when it's about a Boolean and its if-else lessons. So in the example that I wanted to do here, I just wanted to use a greater than operator to find out if 15 is greater than 3. So here we are talking about comparison. We will compare numbers, and you see, I heard somebody saying that, no, don't compare me with somebody. You see, I don't understand that, but this is life, you know. So I'm just going to create a variable here. Let's just read. Actually, I have this 5. I can use that. Let me create another one. In fact, I can just put a comma there and just put a 5 there, or no, just leave it that, and just put an int y is equal to 2. And now what I want to do with this number is I just wanted to compare them and check out which one is greater than the other. So to do that, I will have to say here x, whether x is greater than y. So what will be the answer? I think the result will be, what will be the result actually? Just run it and see. So is x greater than y? Of course, yes. So how will you print us and show us the answer? Just run it. It's telling me that I have a problem somewhere. Okay, where is the problem then? Let me check it. So print, I got this one here, and my comma here, and hold on a little bit. So the problem is that this should be y. So if I run this again, so here we have our answer 1, which means it's true. And if I change this, let's say 6 or just 7, of which we know is a lie, then it should give us false, and the false is 1. So let me run this again, and as you can see, we have 0, which means it's false. So that's the first comparison that we have used. And let's also check on this list of comparisons, and we have a comparison which is equal sign equals to. This actually means equals to. For example, I can say x is equals to y if this is, let's say, 5. So this returns 1 if the values are equal. For example, I can just do that example here. So here we have 5, 5, right? And then I can say whether this x is equals to y. This will return true because it's equal. So if I run this, let's see, let me just delete this and run it again. So as you can see, it's 1 meaning is true. So let's talk about not equal. Not equal, we just change. For example, let's say this is 6 is those, so they are not equal. So how will you check whether they are not equal? So you just put an exclamation sign here. So this will return, for example, something like x. You can say x is not equal. It's not equal to y. That's how it means. For example, I can do an example here and check out. So this is change this to 3. Of course, we know they are not equal. Then I cut this off. Then I place it here. Of course, they are not equal. So what do we expect? Yeah, that will be true, which will be 1. And so you can see 1 over here. So that's true is working. And another one is greater than. Of course, you guys know greater than. So greater than is written like that. So this is when we can say x is actually greater than y, which is true. We can turn 1. And also we can talk about less than. And the less than is just written like this. And also we have greater or equal. Let's just do this, greater or equal. We put this sign and equal. So this is greater or equal. So we can say that something like x is greater or equals to y. That's the meaning for that. So we know x is greater or equal to y. Actually, if I put this 5 here, what would be the answer? So just remove all this. That should be returning. This should return a true, because x should be greater or equal. So it's actually equal. It should return true. So let me just remove this here and run this. So you can see true, of which 5 is equal to 5. And also we have the less or equal, which is written like this. So it's written like less or equal. So it's written like that. So this returns 1 if the first value is less than or equal to the second value. So let's talk about the logical operators. So you can also test for true or false values with logical operators. So logical operators are used to determine the logic between variables or values by combining multiple conditions. So here we have an operators and then a name and the example, and then we can description. First of all, let's check on this here, which is called this and end. This is called end. So where can we use this end? Let's do one example here. So these are logical operators. Yes. These are logical operators, and I just want to use this end here. So the first thing I just want to create, of course, I have the values. So let me just change this to 3. And now let me just print out print function, and then I can do some miracles on stuff over here that you never understand. I'm just kidding, you will understand everything right here. And B, and then now here we can put a comma here, then say x is greater than 3, and that's what that means, and x is less than 10. Is that true? So these are conditions that the logical operators they are going to be checked. So okay, x is greater than 3. Yeah, it's true. And x is less than 10, which is true. So the whole answer should be 1, which means true. So we'll run that, and there we have 1, which is true. So these are the kind of conditions that we can use when we are actually creating a function, and that function you might pass some parameters or some condition to be checked before you do the next thing. For example, you can say that if somebody is below 18 or 18 and between maybe 20, they're between. We can check something between there. You see. So let's talk about let's talk about OR. So OR is this one. I've already told you this and let's talk about OR. OR. So OR is actually done like this. We just change this and here. We can now say x is greater than 3, or you just put these 2 lines over here. Not this. Shift on PC, and you can get on top of that shift there's these straight lines. Now these straight lines means OR. So we can say that x is greater than 3 or x is less than 10, which will turn to be true, and true will be 1. And lastly we have the not. So we have the not here, and the not is written like this with an exclamation mark. So this is not. So if we want to, actually this is what we do. For example, I have to change this to and. So we can say x, if we say that x is greater than 3 and x is less than 10, we can now actually wrap this into a parenthesis just like this, and add one more here. And now we can say that how can we do this? We can say that we must put an exclamation here to say not. Yeah, just like that. So if I run this, so I placed it there, 2 of them. So this will turn to be, the answer should be 0, because x is this, the middle expression here turns to be true, but now you are actually saying the opposite of that, which will be a false. Wow, this is funny, but it's 0 means it's not true. So that's how we use the not there. So guys, that's all for today, and in the next lesson we will be talking about booleans. So as of today, this is very enough. Hope that you liked the lesson of today, and welcome in the next lesson. Thank you so much, and this is your guy once again, the Wolf.